Well, we have such a, well, number one, let me preface by saying this. We understand that we're a national brand here at Fresno State. But we also know that our recipe for success at Fresno State is really putting a wall around the valley. And I went to Media Day last year in Las Vegas. I didn't see all these friendly faces there. So the fact that we can get our football players, our student athletes, our coaches in front of our great media, not just here in Fresno, but the entire Central Valley, and then we have national media coming as well too. I think it's really important because we're expecting to have a very strong season this year and to be able to get in front of all of you. And quite honestly, if we were to do something with the Pac-12, we'd only have a couple student athletes involved. Now we get to have, I forget, 8 or 10 student athletes get in front of all of you because, I know how Coach Entz thinks. He wishes the whole team could be here. It's a team. It's not about an individual. But to get more of our great student athletes in front of all of you, I think is very impressive. To have media here from Turlock, Stockton, Hanford, Bakersfield, we need to do a better job in those markets, building the red wave and the fan base. And quite honestly, those media markets aren't traveling to Las Vegas. So to be able to do that here, and then do it at a place that is so near and dear to us. Table Mountain Casino has been an incredible sponsor for a long time. They're critical to our success here at Fresno State. So to have it in a venue that's been great partners, along with Bulldog Sports Enterprises, as well as Savannah and entire staff, they did an incredible job putting this on. I think it's going to be a fun day. And in fact, I would like to survey all of you after this because I think you're going to want to do something here every year. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Sure.
So you mentioned a few weeks ago about you won't come out with stadium plan until you have something concrete. I'm just curious, where do you go to begin a venture like that? It's such a massive undertaking, right? Where do you start?
Yep.
Is it as simple as looking for the money? Is it as simple as looking for the best feasible plan? How do you start a big project like that?
Yeah, I would say this week I'll be here 2 years, and the work has been going on for 2 years, and I really can commiserate with the red wave. I'm guilty. I'll get on Barkboard once in a while, and I see that, well, what has Klassy been doing the last 2 years? And, well, I have not been sitting on my hands, I can promise you. But there's a lot of pieces involved. Number one is our current stadium feasible? Can you do any improvements there? If you have to build something new instead of renovate, is there land to be able to put that? What kind of premium spaces do you need? We're in a unique position at Fresno State Athletics because of the debt service payment we have at the Save Mart Center. We have one revenue-producing program right now. Basketball will be soon, but it's not. And so we need to hit on football. And in Valley Children's Stadium, it's an incredible home field advantage. But the reality is we don't have enough premium seating in there to fund our programs the way we need. And so to go out with this feasibility study that we partnered with CSL Legends to do, we're going to have the results back here at the end of July, we hope. And within that study, it wasn't just a survey. They talked to 40 key contributors, historical contributors to Fresno State Athletics, on what they are looking for and what would they be willing to invest in a new stadium and what premium spaces do they want to see. And so when we get to report back, it's not going to say, 45% of the people want this and 36 want this. It goes in the detail as that we think these premium spaces will create this kind of revenue, which would go towards debt service on a building. And in turn, you're able to build this, and this is what we think a renovated option will cost. This is what we think a new option will cost. And so it's not just a survey. And I think I don't believe I've done a very good job of really getting into the weeds on explaining to the red wave on what's going into that. But we're going to get a lot of answers from that, and we're working on another parallel track, working with a construction company that has Fresno State ties on really lifting up the hood on what does it look to renovate. Valley Children's Stadium, because there's a lot of reports out there saying, well, as soon as you put a shovel in the ground, it's going to cost $185 million to get that up to code. Well, I need to verify those numbers, and if that's the case, that's going to be a long road to hoe. And if a renovated stadium costs $50 million less than a new stadium, but the new stadium creates more premium spaces and more revenue, we have to look at those long term. We have to look at the big picture. This is a once-in-a-lifetime project, and the president's been intimately involved, but I will tell you right now, I have to make sure it's feasible. As far as aligning donors, that's one piece of it, but there's naming rights components. I think bringing our multimedia rights in a quasi in-house model with Bulldog Sports Enterprises, that's a huge piece of it. Because the reality is, if you put a corporation up on the side of a building or on a club room or something, those are short-term deals, not in perpetuity. So you can creating new revenue opportunities depending on the length of those contracts. So it's a lot of factors. It's not like building a home. It's not like building a home. I can promise you that.
There's lots to unpack there. Let me go back to the point you made about the Save Mart Center debt. Is the Save Mart Center at all hindering your ability to move forward with the football project? Just the money you owe the tenants of the Save Mart Center?
No, not at all. No, not at all. The Save Mart Centers is an incredible venue. We love playing in the Save Mart Center, but the only impact the Save Mart Center has is, we're members of this university. Fresno State Athletics will never be in a silo on their own, and we're going to be good partners. But the reality is that there is debt service to be paid on that, and so I know that we need to be good partners. I can't sit there and say, well, we need X, Y, and Z revenue streams. The president knows that. The CFO knows that. Everyone knows that, but why would we try to extend that another 10, 15 years? The sooner that we can get out from underneath that debt service, the better off not just athletics, the entire university is going to be.
And then on to that point, because of the debt service, you mentioned that football is the only sport generating revenue. How difficult is that to pay the players now in this new climate and also try and keep the athletic department afloat with only one revenue generating sport?
It's been really difficult, and you'll see either today or sometime this week we're going to release that we've had another record fundraising year here at Fresno State, and almost a $5 million increase from my first year here at Fresno State, and that's pretty incredible. But also, if you look at where college athletics is and where it's headed, the revenue share piece wasn't really very prevalent a couple of years ago. Now it is, and we need to philanthropically fundraise for any revenue share that any of our programs have. And so there is added pressure. And I spoke to a reporter earlier. It's really a fine balance, because do we have a lot of prospects in the hopper that could give us seven figures? Absolutely. But what you can't do is say, hey, we need X for a roster, and then I'm going to come back to you a year from now and say I need X for a new football stadium or a renovated football stadium. So there is a balance there, and so that's why it's been really critical for our fundraising team, the Bulldog Foundation, to really go out and find new people. We need to get more people involved, even if it's at the $100 level, $5,000 level, because we have the responsibility for this university to put winning programs on the field, and not just in football, in all of our programs, but we have to find a way to fund those. The resources have to match the expectations here, and we have to be very realistic about that. Absolutely.
Shifting gears a little bit, are you going to do a ticket plan like you did last year? How successful was that where you paid the $75?
Yeah.
And you got people into the building that way. Are you thinking about bringing that back?
We are, but we'd prefer people buy season tickets or mini plans or individual game tickets. But yes, we want to find a way to get more fans, more of the Red Wave into all of our programs. And so the plan hasn't been finalized yet, but we've partnered with a company called Fan Rally, and the owner of Fan Rally is a Fresno State grad, has worked in tech for a long time, very talented individual, and we believe that the more that we can do the membership model that really aligns with where ticket buying is going as a society will help us immensely. We haven't determined the pricing yet. I highly doubt it's going to be at $75, but it is going to be at a very affordable rate, where our fans can get into any game. This year with our upgraded football schedule, it's going to be a little difficult, because if we sell 5,000 passes, we can't set aside 5,000 seats for the Boise State football game. But how that is structured is that if there's 500 or 1,000 tickets set aside, the first ones to be able to log in and get those tickets will have it. So we have to work on the messaging to make sure that you're not guaranteed a ticket to every game. But you think about it, with our schedule, with our Pac-12 schedule, Gonzaga coming to the Save Mart Center, there's going to be a lot of great opportunities that if someone buys a Bulldog pass to be able to hit a majority of our marquee games.
Was that a
It was a great success last year. Yeah, we sold over 2,000, and I think we could do even more with some stronger marketing behind it. So yes, I believe it was a success. I mean, we saw the attendance rise at volleyball, and we didn't have the type of season that Coach Rosen probably would have expected of volleyball, but that attendance did rise due to that plan. Women's basketball, Ryan McCarthy plays an exciting style ball. softball. We saw all those, the attendance at those events based on just the Bulldog Pass increase last year. And so it's an easy way for someone to come to our events and really support any of our programs, because out of all the places I've worked, Fresno State's very unique. I don't think we have Fresno State football fans, Fresno State softball fans. I think we have Bulldog fans, and they want to go, and our fans will come out and support any team, and especially if they're winning. And so to be able to give them access to that, I think is pretty incredible, especially given the unique makeup of our fan base here. It's not lost on me that we have a fan base that maybe don't come from the strongest socioeconomic background. So how do we make everything affordable while still putting a winning product on the field is important to us. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, man. Sydney, I'd love to give you all the answers to the test. What we're calling this the Summer of Transformation, and we have a lot of exciting announcements, from fundraising announcements to fan experiential announcements to a little bit later today announcing who's going up in the Ring of Honor, which is really going to excite the Red Wave. What else? I can't release anything today, but I think you've all seen the new fresh coat of red paint on the side of the stadium, which has really spruced things up. I can't speak well enough or how great of a job Bulldog Sports Enterprises is doing. Chris Pacheco, one of the greatest dogs there is. Ryan O'Rourke, his general manager or VP, is doing an incredible job. It's really unique. When you create a quasi-in-house model with your multimedia rights, if you work for the large corporation, there's nothing wrong with that, but they have formulas that you got to stay within these margins of the deal to be able to invest back in the product. Well, we're really going above and beyond what the industry standard is to invest, so corporate sponsors can invest more heavily in the fan experience. And you're going to see a more robust Bulldog Boulevard this year with live music every game. You're going to see a lot of in-game venues. Like it is, Chris Pacheco will die trying to get the fans in there by kickoff. And there's a lot of exciting things that they're doing that we're working in collaboration on. So all I can say is stay tuned. We're going to have Savannah and Jake Mastro and Nick Culler and team. They have a social media calendar all set up for every week until football season with some pretty exciting announcements. But the one thing I hope the Red Wave recognizes is the investment that we're putting into the fan experiences here. And obviously, they all care about a winning football program more than that, but we understand we've built this as the biggest party in the Valley for a long time. And if that's the case, then this is going to be the biggest party in the Valley on steroids this year. I'm really excited what we're investing into the fan experience and what we're investing in the football program. Hopefully, those two worlds collide, and we have a very special season.
Kind of an interesting question, but only because you mentioned you might be on the bar board late at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself on social media more, like even reading what the Red Wave is saying, or like what's your relationship with that? I guess reading updates about the program.
Yeah, I'm glad my wife isn't here. I think you all know I'm on Twitter all the time. I love being on Twitter. That's how it's hard to trust many news sources right now, except for all of you standing here in front of me. But yeah, I get my news from Twitter, and I think I wasn't really big on X or Twitter until I came to Fresno State because, I just felt I spent my energy elsewhere. But I found in my 2 years here, the fan base really appreciates getting the updates. They like the authenticity. They like the connection to the athletic department. So I do spend time on there, both scrolling and putting news or junk, whatever you want to describe it. But yeah, I do jump on Barkboard, and I can't wait for the first poster to put, Klassy reads what we're saying. But I also think it's important to keep a pulse on the fan base. And you guys all do a great job. Jackson Moore does an incredible job with that site, and that's where our fan base goes to congregate. I can't say I'm on it daily. I probably get on once a week. Kind of, even the people that like to bash me on there, I'm okay with it. They're entitled to their opinions. I just ask them if they're going to bash me in Barkboard, please buy season tickets. Then you have more reason to, at least you're paying an entry fee to bash what we're doing at Fresno State. But no, it's overwhelmingly positive, and for me, I don't feel like I'd be doing my job if I wasn't keeping a pulse on what the fan base is seeing. I think that's really critical. We don't make decisions based off that, but I think it's critical to see what they're talking about and what's going on.
With more exposure, of course, nationally being in the Pac-12, what do you want people who maybe don't know much about Fresno State to know about this university and the program?
Boy, where do I start, Angelique? Number one, I wouldn't even start with Fresno State. I would talk about the community of Fresno. This place has incredible people, very great restaurants, very authentic people, hardworking people. I'll be the first one to admit that when I moved here 2 years ago, I didn't know what to expect. And my wife and I couldn't, and my two boys, we couldn't be happier living in a place like Fresno. So first, I would like to say, and I talk to Mayor Dyer about this frequently, like, how do we get the word out there? And maybe Fresnoans don't want that because we love what we have here, but Fresno is an incredible community. And people always talk, well, you can do this 2 hours away, 3 hours away. Hogwash. What about the stuff we have to do right here? And complain about the heat. Well, you can go to Shaver 45 minutes away, 30 degrees cooler. Fresno is one of the best places, if not the best place I've ever lived. Then you talk about the university. We have the best president in the country in Saul Jimenez Sandoval. He's doing things for this university that, because he's born and raised in Fowler, because Fresno State's the only place he's worked, he is making decisions for this university that is going to propel us for the next 20, 30 years. I've been around some presidents and some institutions where maybe they don't think outside the box. Maybe they don't care about the future of the program. He is, whether it's curriculum on finding programs and classes that really is what the Valley needs. And we know 85% of our graduates stay in the Valley. And so he's looking at ways to meet with industry leaders in this Valley on what jobs are going to be the most important in the next 20, 30 years so we can keep outputting graduates that add to the economy of the Central Valley. So he's really critical on that. And then I think just the athletic department, now that we're going to be, every football game is going to be in at least 60 million homes, everyone's going to know about Fresno and Fresno State. We're going to tell our story every week. We're finally have a TV contract and a conference in the Pac-12 conference that matches our ambitions as a university. And enrollment is growing. Our athletic department is growing. The president invests heavily in Fresno State athletics because we are a marketing tool for this university. And I think it's pretty special. I think the stars are aligning. We have the best football coach in the country, and we have the best president in the country, and you have a mediocre AD and they lift me up every single day. But I think we have a lot of positives going for us here, and I couldn't be more bullish on the future of Fresno, Fresno State, and Cal State University Fresno.
If you don't mind, probably a question asked by my Fresno colleagues many times when I'm from out of town.
Yeah.
Could you just give me your mindset of the affiliation with the Pac-12?
Yeah, I mean, I said it a little bit earlier, but to have that exposure, to be part of a brand that's 110 years old. You saw the announcement on July 1st. I think the Pac-12 announcement had almost 1.4 million views. If you looked at some of the other announcements that day, a couple 100,000. So just having that exposure to partner with Washington State and Oregon State that have been perennial A4 schools, and then match with the Mountain West schools that are departing, Gonzaga and Texas State. We have the ability to grow something really special here. And I think the exposure that you're going to see from this TV contract will really validate that. And so it's on us. We understand that it isn't the old Pac-12, but we have something to build something brand new. And starting this whole thing from scratch gives us ability to grow this thing into what we want, not something that we inherited and have to untrack some decisions. We get to build this thing together. And that's been the last, I think it's been 21 months that we've been trying to build this thing. I feel like I've been in the Pac-12 for the last 2 years already. To have that ability has been really special.
Just one more.
Yeah.
In your 2 years here, you'll reach your anniversary this week.
Correct.
What's it been like working with Coach Entz and just how you see the football program?
Yeah, an incredible partner. I mean, any of the coaches we've hired here, but especially Coach Entz, I needed someone that not only built a special football program, but helped me build this athletic department. And, he talks about all the time, the standard is a standard. But if you see the culture that's being built here, you're seeing young men in football that during their off weeks, they're in the weight room lifting. They love being around the program. They're having fun. And then, someone that really has a similar background to blue-collar kid from the Midwest, they understand what the Valley grit is. They're going to play tough-nosed football. They're not going to be outworked. They're going to have mistake-free football. And they're going to hold people accountable. And they're going to create a culture of accountability and set expectations. And that's what I'm trying to do in our athletic department, too. So to have a partner in that has been really incredible. And seeing how hard these young men are, and women too, there's women on the staff in this program are working. It has really set a standard for our entire athletic department, not just for the football team. Thank you.